When your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with a Generac home standby generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Sponsored by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power. And Total Air.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Monday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. And I'm going to be honest, when I started today, I get up, I get out of bed, it's sunny, it's hot, there's not a lot of weather going on. And then all of a sudden, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I posted a picture of the tropics from the NHC, which said no development expected over the next 7 days. And I literally just said, nope, because there's nothing out there, nor do we expect anything. And literally a minute or two later, I start getting all these comments from people. Yeah, but what about the earthquake? And my initial response is, what are you talking about? What earthquake? And then I started looking, and then I started hearing more. And everybody started saying they started to feel the shaking around the Bay Area. Well, yes, there was an earthquake. There was a 6.1. And let me tell you guys, a 6.1 earthquake, that ain't nothing. That's not a little bitty. That is a sizable earthquake. I was in the Northridge quake in Los Angeles back in the mid-90s, and we had a 7.1, and we were about 10 miles from the epicenter. I mean, there were apartment complexes that were devastated. I mean, it was a massive earthquake. So a 6.1 earthquake is nothing to sneeze about. However, as you see, it was located about 60 miles to the northwest of Cuba. And in terms of distance as the crow flies from where it was to Tampa, it was just over 372 some odd miles from the Bay Area. So we had ourselves a very sizable earthquake down to our southwest. And go figure. So normally we do our hellos and we talk about some other stuff. But so my buddy Mike Boylan, and you guys, a lot of y'all know Mike. Mike runs Mike's weather page. Mike is an Oldsmar guy who just has been around the block here for decades, loves weather, and has been doing some chasing on the side as well. Well, go figure. So the Islander, the Margaritaville at Sea Islander that went out of Tampa a few days ago, Mike was on it. And that in itself is not newsworthy. But the fact that the ship was like right over the epicenter when the earthquake hit is rather newsworthy. Now, I was hoping to talk to Mike on Zoom, but my guess is maybe there's not enough bandwidth for video and audio. But let me see if I can get Mike here, at least his audio, and he can kind of tell you what happened. Let me see. So, Mike,
yep,
are you there?
I'm here. I'm in the middle of the ocean.
Okay, so Mike is here, and this is working. So I know you've been big into storm chasing, but apparently now the storm is chasing you.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
Well, it is the craziest story. We're sitting there at the flip-flop bar that I know you know well.
You're at the flip-flop bar. Shocker there. Right.
Yeah, no, right. Well, anyway, it was getting a little too hot out here for us. And so the ship started shaking. And when I say shaking, it almost felt like it was, when you get to a port and it's like they kind of put the reverse in a little bit. And so it was kind of like that, but all of a sudden it was more, and it lasted about a minute. And it got to the point where things started shaking, like the chandeliers, the lights. I heard stories of, plates falling down in the dining room. I talked to a lady just now that her AC vent fell out off of, in the room. I do know that there was kids screaming. The ship was shaking, Dennis, like none of us have ever experienced. And I got buddies that, grew up in the Navy, and they were all looking like something's happening here. Like, we don't know what's going on.
But why didn't you not get video? I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking, man, if anybody's going to have video of this, it's going to be Mike.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's because we were kind of shocked. I mean, I talked to a crew member who said he was woken up and he went and got his life vest. I mean, that's kind of, so we're all just like staring. Yeah, we were just staring at each other like, what is going on? Like, I thought the engine blew up, or like we lost a prop or something. But no, it just kept going on and on and on and on. And, the captain came on about 10 minutes later, and, and he told everybody. And so we all, turned the phones on, and we're like, holy crap, this thing literally it was like right underneath us. I mean, we were right off the coast of Cuba, right where this thing happened. And all we can imagine now, talking to the captain, even, they don't recall this ever happening. Like they don't have any experience cruise industry of an actual epicenter below this, a ship.
And so it wasn't a little one. 6.1 is a big earthquake.
Well, that's it. And I'm getting all these naysayers, as you know, and I'm like getting irked. They're like, no way that happened. You're full of it. I'm like, go interview the 3,000 people on this ship. I mean, they all have a story. Everybody's got a story. I mean, it legitimately was the weirdest thing. And all I can figure, sound waves, something bubbled up from the bottom that just, we didn't hit a wave. That's the weird thing. There was no wave. It was just
with earthquakes, there's different waves. There's P waves. There's different waves and that's why some produce tsunamis and some do not. So the type of wave that can actually go out from whatever quake it is really will vary. So we were obviously fortunate, because if that was a tsunami wave developed, then all of a sudden you ever see the Poseidon Adventure, man? I'm just saying.
No. No. We're getting a T-shirt made. I can tell you that. We survived the great earthquake of 6.8. I think.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. Clearly, I guess there's not enough bandwidth on the ship. Mike is in the middle of the ocean right now on a cruise. You're not at the flip-flop bar, but I'm sure you'll be there shortly. So enjoy. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
When I heard that you were there, I figured, go figure. If anybody's going to find his way in the middle of an earthquake, in the middle of a cruise ship, it's going to be Mike. So there you go.
Well, yeah, and I'm making the mistake of reading the comments, as you do too sometimes, and I'm going to go around later tonight and do a little video. You're going to see a Facebook Live, and I'm going to interview, and I'm going to get the stories. I'm going to hear it, because it did happen.
If anybody has video of as it was happening, I'm really kind of disappointed you weren't filming. I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of surprised, because you and I both, it's the same mindset. Where do you point the camera? But if anybody has some video, make sure they share it, because I'd love to see what that looked like as it was happening, and especially because everybody's okay. Nobody was hurt, so that's
everybody's fine. Yeah, and the kids were kind of scared. Emily texted me. She's like, "Dad, what's going on?" So it was different. Sunny, calm seas, and here we have an earthquake right off the coast of Cuba.
Well, enjoy the rest of the cruise, and definitely we'll be looking for updates. And hey, stay safe out there. At least there's nothing in the tropics you got to worry about. So go figure. You think you might see some bumpy waves because of a wave, and instead you've got an earthquake. Whatever.
I know, right? I gotta hype something, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Say hi to the family. Right. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right. See you.
All right, so that was Mike Boylan on the Margaritaville, out somewhere between Cuba and the Yucatan, and obviously could not get signal, but that's hey, that was good stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. All right, we all know there's not a lot going on. Toward the end of the show, we are going to talk about our rain chances going up, but I know we have a ton of pet lovers who are on our show and in our chat. I mean, we know it. So we're going to be coming up after the break. We're going to be talking to a couple of local vets whose expertise this time of the year is on how to keep your pet safe in tick season, in flea season, and then you got all the other Florida things that can happen to your pets. So stick around in 90 seconds. We'll be back to talk about that on DPL. Okay, we are on a break. Guys, let's see. I have not even seen comments because literally I was trying to get Mike on there as the show was on the air, and it definitely is kind of hectic. So we got everybody here? Yep, we do. Oh, yeah, you guys are all sharing your stories about how you felt that. I didn't feel a thing, but second floor did. Second floor of our station did. All right, I'm going to take IFB. I'm going to disconnect from here, guys, and Derek, I'm going to have my IFB on here. All right, 1 minute, gotcha. And what shot are you going to take? Are you going to take? Going to take this shot, okay? All right. Unless you just want me to.
Yeah,
why don't I just start? Why don't I just start over here?
Yeah, we're next.
Yeah, let's just that. Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Dennis.
Jessica.
Jessica,
Yeah.
and again.
Michael.
All right, nice. All right, so Michael and Jessica.
Yes.
All right. All right. So there's so many cameras. Okay. Camera one. All right. Camera. So we're going to come out on camera one. We are now hot on streaming. And yeah. Now you're with Blue Pearl.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
All right. And
Banfield.
is it?
Banfield
Banfield.
Pet Hospital.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I might not remember that. All right. And then this will be about about a 7-minute segment? 7 or 8 minute segment? Okay. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. So we all love our pets. And I guess, is it fair to say we're here with Jessica and with Michael, a couple of local vets with Blue Pearl and with Banfield.
Absolutely.
And in the summertime, I would think that the threats to our pets are greater than in any other time of the year. Is that true?
Probably, yes.
Okay, so let's start with the basics with flea and ticks, because, I mean, I know that they have illnesses that go along with them, but they're also just incredibly annoying if they get into the house and everything. So what would be the best way to treat or to prepare folks for that? And you were telling me, Michael, that there's some new meds out there that are really, really helpful as well.
Yeah, there's some great options out there on the market. This time of year, fleas and ticks are really strong in Florida. And if you're starting to see them in the house, they're already in the cushions, they're in the carpet, they're already causing a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Best way is to get ahead of it. Prevention is so much more affordable than treating. And this day and age, not only do we have really great oral medicines that you can give each month to your pets, we have topicals. We also now have injections that you can give each year to take care of fleas and ticks in your dogs. So we have a lot of wonderful options out there for our Tampa community.
So let's dive in a little bit more on that. So what is most cost efficient for people who are needing to save a buck?
Treatment is always more expensive than prevention. So partnering with your veterinarian to find the best prevention is always going to be the most affordable solution, whether it is a topical, oral, or injectable. They all have their advantages, and it depends on what works best for you and your family.
Well, and that's a good question too, because, okay, we're talking about the difference between topicals or injections or whatnot. Are any of them more, effective than others?
So this day and age, all the prescriptive ones you're going to get from your veterinarian, and that's why it's so important that you partner with your doctor to find the best solution for you and your pet, are going to be very effective, very safe, and fairly affordable. It's the over-the-counter products that aren't necessarily designed for your pet, that you don't partner with your doctor about, are going to be the ones that are going to cause you the problems. Half the times they don't work, and the other half of the time they're going to make your pet more sick than what you started with.
So there's no easy answer in terms of, for a dog or a cat, which one might be more effective, a topical or an injection or a pill kind of a thing?
There are easy answers, and depending on your pet, we get to there pretty quickly. And that's why having that relationship with your veterinarian is always the most important. You know, at Banfield, we're able to come up with those solutions pretty quickly. We're able to make them affordable. We can mix them in with our products like wellness plans, so you can pay for them monthly, make them discounted, easy to utilize, and get them onto your pets the right way.
Okay, last question, then I'm going to ask Jessica some questions. What about the treatments that affect or more than one thing, like one that just ticks or ticks and fleas and heartworms and everything else. Are those as effective in getting rid of the fleas and ticks when you start adding all the other ingredients to it? Or?
Not only are they effective, they're better.
Oh, okay.
You know, we've been doing this for a long time here at this table, and back in the day, you'd have to give 2 or 3 products to try to get to where you need to go. Now, for most of our pets, there's one product that will solve for most of your parasites, whether it's heartworm disease, fleas, ticks, intestinal parasites. A lot of them can do all of them in one easy product. Like I said, we just started using an injectable flea and tick preventative for dogs. You give it once a year, and it's productive for 12 months.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay. So, Jessica, we're in Florida.
Yes.
And we all know Florida can be kind of crazy in terms of additional threats, right?
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you a story. I have a Bernie Doodle, a mini Bernie Doodle, and I had him when he was maybe 3 months old, and he got out and ate some mushrooms.
Oh.
And it literally almost killed him.
Yes.
We brought him to Blue Pearl and saved his life because he was almost gone like that. And so my question is, the point is, this can happen so quickly.
Yes.
So how do people watch out for those additional threats, not just the fleas and ticks, but the snakes and the toads and the mushrooms and everything else? I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is that if you're concerned about your pet, to seek veterinary care is always the right option. We don't always know what they get into, but if you see your veterinarian, they can do a physical exam, they can do some diagnostics and try to figure out, was it mushrooms, was it a toad, was it a snake, you know, and go from there. It can be hard if all of a sudden your dog is sick and we're not sure why, so.
Right. Well, with outdoor threats in general, I mean, as we go into June and July and August, are there things that people can do either for their yards or ways to prevent these things from happening in the first place?
So I think for toad toxicities and snake bites, the best thing you can do for your dog is to keep them on a leash. A lot of dogs get envenomated or intoxicated if they're off leash, you know, running around. For me, the things that I see on an emergency basis that are the most concerning and most prevalent in Tampa Bay is actually heat stroke. The summer, the temperatures, the humidity is so high that I think all animals are exposed to that, and that's way more concerning and way more prevalent across all pets than
What
just
would the
toads
symptoms
and-
be on that?
Yeah, so dogs are especially affected. The first things you may see is that they're panting uncontrollably. They're frantic. They can't calm down. It happens middle of the day if they're at the dog park. You know, certain conditions make it so that dogs actually cannot cool down. They cool down by evaporating saliva off their tongue. And so once the humidity and temperature get so high, they can't cool down. So they start panting. They can start to act drunk, having trouble walking. If they collapse, vomiting, diarrhea, there's some severe signs that can happen with the heat stroke.
Now, if that's the case, you obviously want to go to a vet, but you might have to do immediate treatment. What would you do to handle that immediately?
The best thing you can do is remove them from the heat. So get them inside, get them in air conditioning, and then start to cool them down. We recommend cool water, not cold, not ice water, but cool water. Then you can put a fan on them to see if you can cool them down. It is possible that you cool them down too much. So immediately seeing a veterinarian is always recommended.
So you don't want to put them in a cold bathtub or anything?
No, not ice. It actually makes it worse. So just water out of the hose, water out of the shower, and then see a veterinarian, because the problems with heat stroke is that they can have issues show up later. They can present in a certain way, and then in a few hours things can get much worse. So I would always recommend seeing your vet.
Okay, so we just finished talking about dogs. Let's talk about cats, and we'll do that in 90 seconds as Dennis Phillips Live continues. Okay, we're in break. Good. All right, that was awesome. All right, so yeah, let's talk a little bit more about cats and anything else that we haven't covered that you want to cover for this break. For this, is there something else that we didn't?
I can go over snake bites and
Okay.
cats.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cats.
Um,
If you want to talk anything about heartworm disease, we can. I like cats. And then for a lot of people, knowing that, you know, they can get to their general practitioner, we'll send them over to their emergency vet if they can't get to an ER right away, if they don't have one local. You know, we work together, even though we're different names.
Okay.
You know, us as vets work together in the community.
do y'all have? And this is probably actually a conversation I'll have next Tuesday with the. I was telling Michael, we have a feral cat in the back that had kittens, and our neighborhood's got a ton of them. And both kittens were on a roof, and we ended up having to bring it to the ER because we thought they both were dead. Both are okay, and one we're adopting. I didn't say that. Next week, but trapping feral cats and getting them spayed and then putting them back in the wild is really an important thing and that's probably something I'll talk with them about next week because that's kind of the gist of what they.
Much better.
But yeah, okay, but yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's a strategy.
Yeah, and it's hard. We cannot get this cat.
Yeah.
We're trying to, but we just cannot. Right? I know we can't. Back in 5. All right. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Again, I think a lot of us pet owners, pet lovers, whether it's cats, whether it's dogs, whatever your pet, and we're trying to give you a strategy for the summer. And we talked a lot about dogs. Cats are even trickier, I guess, because there's a lot of folks that let their cats go out, and the cats will be out for a long time, and they face a lot of risks, even snake bites, you were saying.
Yeah, so dogs certainly more affected by snake bites, but cats get curious. They see something in the bushes and they can go after a snake and suffer the same envenomation that dogs do.
And what would that treatment be? I mean, I guess at that point, you've got to get them to a vet immediately, right? There's no downtime.
Yeah, the hard part is that Florida has lots of snakes. Some are venomous, some are not. And the venomous snakes that we do have, there's lots of different kinds of toxins. And so the best thing you can do is that if you see your cat get entangled with a snake is to bring them to a vet. Hopefully, it's not a venomous species. If it is, your veterinarian can help you with the next steps.
And you were talking about fleas and ticks in terms of cats. Is there a different treatment? Because, again, getting them to take a pill, really, really hard. I've always used the liquid on the back of the shoulder blades. Is there a preference?
No, we do a lot of topicals with cats. But what a lot of people don't realize is fleas and ticks are half the conversation. Heartworm disease is a really big one. Because unlike dogs where we can actually treat the heartworm disease, you can't treat it with cats. You can't kill adult heartworms in cats.
Oh, wow.
You can only support them. And what a lot of people don't realize is even indoor cats are one of the highest growing segments of heartworm positive pets because mosquitoes come into the house and a lot of people don't think their indoor pets need the same protection that our outdoor pets get. So utilizing our heartworm flea tick preventatives for cats is actually very important, even in our indoor pets, to keep them healthy.
I'm guilty of that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I've just, I buy the combination, but I never realized, because I thought as an indoor cat, how could they get heartworms? But I guess that makes sense.
Hence why we have the Florida rooms, because it keeps the mosquitoes out, but mosquitoes get inside and they can infect our cats as well as our dogs.
Wow, unbelievable. Well, that's great information. Again, lastly, I guess in terms of other threats, during the summer months, are there any other suggestions that you have for the folks who are watching today, maybe who have a combination of maybe cats that go out, but dogs that stay in, but they go? I mean, is there a strategy as we go through the summer?
I think for me, I would be most cautious if I have one of the short-faced breeds, either cats or dogs. Those are the most susceptible to heat stroke. So the French bulldogs, the English bulldogs, Boston Terriers, boxers, they need that long nose to cool down air as they're breathing. And so those guys are most susceptible to heat stroke. We see that a lot during the hurricane season. When people lose power, they lose AC. And so making sure you're watching out for your pet to make sure they're not overheating is the best thing that you can do.
One more quick question, and we're really tight on time, but I got to ask you this. You just brought up hurricanes, so I got to ask this. People who have to evacuate and bring their pets with them.
Yeah.
Is there a suggestion in terms of medicating a pet before they go to a shelter or anything else? What are your thoughts on that?
I'll take this. A lot of it really, it comes down to that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so getting in with your vet regularly to have that relationship so you can talk about not only the parasite prevention, the potential heat stroke issues, but what should we be prepared for when we need to evacuate or if a hurricane comes into town? What medications could my pet benefit from if we have those, weather events happening? We're coming up to the 4th of July, a lot of noise starting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And these are things that we should be planning ahead of time and, getting that relationship with your doctor to ask those questions, and we can help. That's why we work so closely together in this community to make sure your pet gets the care, both in general preventative care and emergency care when your pet needs it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate great information. We'll be back in 90 seconds to give you an update on our rain chances that are on the way. That's all coming up as DPL continues. Yeah, you know what? I need a floor director out here when I'm doing this because I have no flipping idea what camera I'm looking at. There's 4 cameras facing this way and not one of it. So either you give me a cue in my ear, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or because I literally was just going like this. I didn't know which
You caught one at
you-
least.
One of them is right. That was awesome. Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
guys. All right,
Yeah.
we're still streaming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Derek, the tally light on 5 does come on, but the other ones do not. So, yeah, no tally light on that one. 4 does not have one. Let me try 4. I know we're still on streaming, but what the heck? So 4, no tally light. 1, no tally light. 2, no tally light. So the only one that has a tally light is 5. So if we're going to have a multiple camera like that, I either need a director to tell me what camera or I need someone out here. Thanks. 30 seconds. Got it. Thank you. Because I was like this. Like, can I look in the middle? Can I just kind of try to fudge it? All right. How you guys doing? How's it going out there? I haven't talked to anybody out there today. All right, I can see the cues. Yeah, I got them. I got the time. I got the time on here now, Derek. 7 seconds. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Like I said, you know, by the way, we have so many guests coming up over the next couple of weeks. Dr. Beach Gem is going to be in. You probably know Dr. Beach Gem. I mean, she's like massive on TikTok, 11 billion followers, and really, really interesting. She's going to be on, I think, later this week. We're going to have next Tuesday, we're going to have the cat rescue that rescued the cats that were on my neighbor's roof. Stormy will be in studio next Tuesday. So yes, Stormy will be in studio next Tuesday. We have lots and lots of guests coming up. So that's coming up. I want to do a quick update on the forecast because rain chances are going to be coming on up as we go into the latter half of the week, into the weekend. Highs today, low 90s. Well, actually, highs today were in the middle 90s. And the reason is because the dew points are so low. Look at that dew. Look at the humidity, 33%. How often do you see that in the middle of June? Not too often. It's why, remember, the drier the air, the hotter the air can be. So when you have low dew points, you're going to see highs in June like we did today at 95. But the moisture is going to be increasing. Humidity increases, and that also means the rain chances start to increase. Tomorrow, most of it will be east of I-75, south of I-4. But on Wednesday, watch the sea breeze, boom. There's where your sea breeze is, north and south. And with the change in wind direction back toward the west, that is why the rains are going to be pushing back toward the coast, and we are going to see much better coverage Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right on into the weekend. In the tropics, there's been all that buzz for the last 2 weeks about potential development, and the whole time I'm like, no, the GFS is wrong. The Euro is not showing much. Look, yes, there is some moisture out there. Yes, there may be some weak crossover from the Pacific into the Gulf, but there will be nothing developing out of it. There will be no threat. Not to mention, I wish we'd get some rain out of it, but we're not going to. So we got nothing going on other than the heat and a return of more of our late day, early evening storms. And that is a good thing. We need the rain, and those chances increase pretty dramatically by Thursday, right on into the weekend, with highs in the low 90s and rain chances up to about 60%. So there you have it. We have a basketball game coming up on ABC on our station. Game starts at 8:30. The Knicks and the Spurs. Knicks up 2-0. Spurs got to win this. Not a must win, but pretty much a must win. So thanks for watching us. We'll be back tomorrow night on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night. All right. That was a jam-packed show. So how you guys doing? Yes, Stormy will be here next Tuesday, Janet. Yes, she will. At least I take that. Stormy is scheduled to appear. Because you never know with that talent. You never know that sometimes the talent, they're like, well, you know what? I just don't think so. I don't know if DPL is big enough for me. So Stormy might say she's going to wait until she goes on The View or something. I don't know. So that's coming up. But anyway, yeah. Thank you to Mike for. It's a shame we couldn't get video, but I believe it's probably bandwidth was just not high enough, or else Mike had just had too many margaritas and didn't know how to turn on the video camera, the video button on Zoom. That is a possibility, I might add, because we all know Mike does not mind partaking, and he's on vacation. He's on a cruise ship, so why not, right? It's Margaritaville, for heaven's sakes. So, but anyway, thanks to Mike for giving us that update on the ship. I will be looking for more video out there. And so, Debbie, it all boils down to the type of waves that a particular earthquake produces. And earthquakes are not all the same. And the type of earthquake that we had with today was not the kind that produces tsunamis. Because, yeah, 60 miles out, you think to yourself, you get a 6.1 earthquake is a big earthquake. And you get a 6.1, 60 miles offshore, you figure, all right, there's a chance of a tsunami. But again, no report. There was never a warning issued. There were never any reports of it. You get them out in the Pacific, and even California still is under a tsunami watch or a warning 500, 1,000 miles offshore. So 60 miles ain't nothing. But fortunately, it was not the same kind. So yeah, we do see an increase in rain chances here. Let's go ahead and I'll show you real quick. Anyway, we'll go back and show you some of the model data, and then I'll go watch some basketball. So here's a look at the Euro, okay? And there is Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., still not much. Wednesday evening, not much. Thursday morning, not much. Thursday afternoon, not much. And actually, even Thursday evening, the Euro is not really bullish on rain. So the Euro is less bullish than the high-resolution models are. That wasn't right. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I don't think that's right. That's all right. That was at the time frame. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. Yeah, this is Wednesday afternoon. There you go. I must have been looking at the following week. It must have been 10 days out. All right, this is Wednesday night. Makes more sense. And look at the setup. Southeast winds, we're going to go back. There's 2 p.m., there's 8 p.m. So that is what we consider our classic summertime pattern. That's Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. And that's even 2 a.m., still lingering showers. Here comes Thursday, 8 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m. So still looking like solid coverage. Here's Friday, 2 p.m., 8 p.m., overnight. And then Saturday, this is Saturday night, 8 p.m. Now, I'll tell you, it looks to me like if this is the case, the winds might be shifting again. Because look at how it does not impact the West Coast. A lot of it is moving in the opposite direction with more of a southwesterly flow. So we'll see if that is indeed the case. Because the southwesterly flow does not let our coast get as much rain, and that's coming in Sunday into Monday. So we'll see. So right now the Euro is saying southeast on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, into early next week, southwest returns, which begins to push everything away from the coast and more inland. Now, when the water temperature gets to be about 86 or above in the Gulf, even a southwest flow can bring rain to our coastal areas, but it's earlier in the day. Usually the heavier rains are inland, and it also usually can spawn water spouts. So that's kind of where we are. All right? All right, guys. So it happened at 2 o'clock. The earthquake happened at 2 o'clock, Amy. Kitty's doing okay. She's having a tough time gaining some weight. Can't go home until she's 2 pounds, I think. So she's not quite there yet. And I think that's about it. So, guys, I'm going to go have my dinner. I'm going to watch some basketball, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? Maybe we'll be looking at an asteroid for all I know. We'll find out. Hope you join us on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night.